Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, it's great to see that we have a big turnout here. A lot of people are coming in, trickling in as we speak. Welcome to Exploring Scholarship workshops hosted by various campus support programs. And we're excited to have here two wonderful individuals from the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships. We have Maria. Let me see, we have Veronica Medina and
Maria Asturias.
yes,
Is that
thank
what
you.
you're looking for?
Yes, and they're gonna be taking over from now. Though, so let's give them a warm welcome. And you could take over, Maria.
Okay, thank you. Let me see if I can share my screen. I cannot.
All right, you should be able to now.
Sorry. Can you see from the start now? Introduction. Okay.
Yes, we see it.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna stop my video just because of my bandwidth. And then I'll go ahead and get started. So thank you guys for inviting us. We're gonna give you a complete introduction to scholarships from me, who I am, who am I? My name is Maria Asturias, and I am one of the scholarship coordinators here at Cal Poly Pomona. So I definitely will be processing any scholarships that you are winning or receiving, and then answering any questions you might have. So let's get started. To begin, I wanted to provide you a timeline of when you can apply for scholarships. We generally follow the similar timeline of a FAFSA or a DREAM Act application, which starts October 1st and ends March 2nd every year. So every year we have this Scholarship Fest, and it's basically our campaign to promote students to apply to scholarships. And also at the same time, we want to remind you to apply to your FAFSA or renew your FAFSA or your DREAM Act application. So what are scholarships? Scholarships fall underneath the umbrella of financial aid. So it's a type of financial aid. It's going to be coordinated with any other financial aid you may be receiving. So what types of financial aid am I talking about? We have gift aid in the form of grants and in the form of scholarships. And gift aid is free money that you can receive. You don't have to pay that back, so long as you are working towards a degree program. Self-help aid is going to be work study or federal student loans. So many students tell us, I didn't get any financial aid, I only got loans. We always remind you, actually, federal loans are a form of financial aid. So you did get financial aid, you just were not eligible for a grant this year. So that's a point of clarification sometimes. Work study is going to be a program also offered to you if you're eligible, and you would need to do a little bit of work for that one. You would need to apply to a job through our career center. And then once you get that job, you're given a certain amount of money that you can work for. So you'll be receiving a check and then getting paid from your work study fund. Some benefits to applying for scholarships. Sometimes students are like, oh, I never win, or, it's too much work, I don't have time. We want to remind you that there are some benefits to applying. Even if you don't if you're not selected as a recipient. So one of the benefits would be we can reduce your work hours during the school year. So if you get a scholarship and you're currently working in a job outside of Cal Poly, receiving a scholarship can help you to budget and know that you don't need to work so much anymore because you already have these scholarships coming. We can help you reduce your student loan debt. So if you only had student loans in your financial aid package, receiving a scholarship can help you reduce that debt. You can also use your scholarship process in your resume. So sometimes we ask you certain questions, or scholarships might have certain requirements that ask you to work on your resume. So you already have that ready and prepared for when you need it for a job or any other application. You can also indicate any prestigious scholarships that you may have won or may have applied to. Again, going through the process can help you in many ways. It can help you learn more about yourself in writing your essays, and noting down everything you're involved in, or anything you want to be involved in. So it's a good tool and a good resource for you to use and then apply to in your resume, or even as the last item says, in your graduate school application. Again, some of these scholarships are prestigious and you may want to just name them. Oh yes, I was selected for the Boeing scholarship. Oh yes, I was selected for the presidential scholarship. So you may want to mention those in your application. So hopefully I convinced you to apply, and now I need to tell you where to go to apply. So how do I begin searching for Cal Poly scholarships? We have information on our website, and I asked Veronica to put that on the chat. The direct link is going to be cpp.edu/financial-aid/scholarships, and that will take you to our scholarships page. There's a lot of good information here. I would encourage everyone to take a look whenever you have some time. And then focus on the Cal Poly Pomona scholarships if you want to apply. Once you click on the Cal Poly Pomona scholarships, you will see a short video that we have created for you to give you an orientation of what you will see and what to expect. And then also the direct link to the Bronco Scholarship Portal. The Bronco Scholarship Portal is where you would apply to any Cal Poly Pomona scholarship. When you sign into the scholarship portal, you will be asked to enter your Cal Poly credentials. So the same way you entered into your Bronco Direct, you would do the same by clicking the right-hand corner button there that says sign in. And then this will be the information that lets you know how to apply. It will give you a preview of the available scholarships, some of the deadlines, and some of the amounts of each scholarship. You will be asked to complete the general scholarship application. This is the number one thing you need to do to be able to be considered for any scholarships at Cal Poly. And it's pretty easy, or sort of easy, but basically the way it looks, or what they will ask you is, what areas have you been involved in, any clubs or organizations? And then you do have the option to select you have not been involved in, and that's not necessarily going to hurt you, but a lot of students get discouraged and say, well, I haven't been involved in anything. That's okay, you can select that. There are many scholarships that only look at GPA. There are many scholarships that only look at your grade level. So we would encourage you to just go ahead and apply, even if you think you have not been involved in anything. But if you have been involved in anything, make sure that you are selecting everything that you have been involved in, and that you are letting us know how you've been involved in. So there will be a box for you to give that information. And then there will be another question, which is your personal statement. This one's the important one, and we encourage you to take your time on this one. This one will ask you for your academic goals, your career objectives, why the scholarship would be helpful to you, and then any other relevant information you want to share with the committee. So if you are applying to a specific scholarship for your major, for example, you do want to speak to that. You want to speak to what you're working on, what you plan to work on, what you are looking forward to working on, things of that nature, so that you are showing that you are a good match for this scholarship. And then once you submit your general scholarship application, two things will happen. You're gonna have one area that says, congratulations, these are the scholarships you are eligible for. And those are called auto-match opportunities. The auto-match opportunities don't require any additional information from you. So long as you submitted your general application, you will be considered into those specific scholarships. So again, if there are basic criteria such as a specific GPA, for example, we have one that all you have to do is have a GPA of 2.0 or above, you're automatically considered into the pool. Then there are optional opportunities in which you would need to submit additional requirements. And these fall under what we call our recommended opportunities. These will be posted on your portal once you submit your general application. And you will see a button that says apply. So it's up to you to apply. However, if you see that, oh yes, I do, this looks like I would qualify for, we would definitely recommend that you apply to them. You can always come back. Again, we would encourage you to take your time on these, because again, there are additional questions they might ask you, an additional essay, a resume, a letter of recommendation, things of that nature that are extra to the general application. And again, you can always come back to your portal. You can always save and edit later, so long as the deadline has not passed. There will be what we call the student dashboard, or your landing page, once you enter the portal, and you can see what your status is on there. So you can always see how many have been recommended, how many you have submitted, how many are available for you to update, etc. Outside of Cal Poly, there are other scholarships available, and we refer to them as outside scholarships. And we do have a resource on our website for you to view some or explore some that have either reached out to us, or we have vetted and know that they are available to students to apply. So again, we would direct you to our scholarships page, cpp.edu/scholarships. And then you will see a link that says outside scholarships. You can also access additional scholarships that are external, non-CPP scholarships in the portal. There are not that many in here, but that option is available there. You can see it by going to the opportunities tab and then clicking the external. We also get a question, well, I'm not a US citizen, everything requires US citizenship. That can be true for many, but not all. So we would still encourage you to apply. And then again, some may be recommended because of citizenship status. There is a resource that you can also go to on our website. We have indicated that some of those, and you can apply to outside of Cal Poly Pomona. Okay. So hopefully I have again convinced you to apply to some scholarships, either Cal Poly or outside or both. Some things to look out for as we are going through the process is some scholarship scams. Be sure that there should never be a fee to apply. Scholarships should, again, it's free money. You should not be asked for money to get money. So be careful when they ask you for a fee. You should never have to provide a credit card number, your social security, or your ITIN number. Because some students get confused on that. You might think, oh, well, financial aid asked me for my information. Yes, we do ask you for that information. Scholarship opportunity should not ask you for that information. You should never have to provide your banking information. Again, they're trying to get your money. Don't let them. You should never have to pay a processing fee or an application fee. Never pay to register or get access to a database. Here at Scholarships, we also get scholarship or quote unquote scholarships asking us if we want their database. We say no, thank you. And also be mindful of random organizations claiming you have won their scholarship. So there may be some scams going saying, hey, congratulations, you've been selected, and you have not applied to anything. You can always email us if you're nervous or need to just double check if it's coming from us. We can let you know, yes, that it's a good source, or let you know, no, that it's never heard of that. Do not touch anything. Sometimes you get a scholarship again from an external source, so an external scholarship, and it's given to you to give to the school. There are many ways that you can give to the school. You can either mail it, or you can hand deliver. You would have to deliver to the cashier's office, student accounting and cashiers. Our office can take it, but then we would just go and walk it over to the cashier in office. So it's just best to save some time and just take it yourself to student accounts if you're doing it in person. And you can also drop it off in the payment drop box located outside of the student services building, the little metal box that you can just throw in your scholarship envelope in there. Before you throw it in there, or before you hand deliver, or before you mail, always make sure your name is on there. Always make sure your Bronco ID number is on there so that we can process quicker and easily. If not, we would have to go and do the research, whose check does this belong to, how do we apply it, etc. We get some questions about how to write essays or how to go about letters of recommendations and thank you letters. So we wanted to also offer you some tips and tricks here. Some scholarship essay do's and don'ts. You do want to follow the prompt and other instructions exactly. So if you've ever taken a writing workshop, they tell you always come back to the question. Don't forget that you have a question to answer. Make sure that you are answering the question appropriately. You want to be clear and concise with one central thought. And some of us are not good with this. Some of us like to get off subject. This is where I would recommend you get some help. So either have a friend look it over, family member look it over, or even the Learning Resource Center, which I will touch on, I think, in a bit. You want to focus on your strengths and turn your problems or weaknesses into success stories. So I know a lot of students, well, I don't want to say I know, some students feel that they don't have a strong enough story to compel scholarship committees so that they can offer them their scholarship. That's not necessarily true. We want to make sure that we're catching your strengths and that you're turning any problems into a success story. So it doesn't matter what you've been going through. We just want to know a little bit more about you, and we want to know how you're making the best of it. Do use actual detailed examples from your own life to support your claims. This is another area where students give us very general information. They don't go into details. You want to make sure that you're giving us enough information so that we can create a picture of what you're trying to tell us. Proofread. Again, have a friend, have a family member, have somebody read over it so that they can make sure that at least you're checking your spelling or your grammar, the basics. And then again, use your available tutors and resources offered by the Learning Resource Center. Some don'ts. Don't use words from a thesaurus that are new to you. You may end up using the new word incorrectly. So sometimes you want to make it sound a little bit fancy, or you want to make it sound a little bit smarter. If you don't know what you're talking about, we won't know what you're talking about. So be careful about that. Reiterate what is already stated on your resume. Don't reiterate what is already stated on your resume, and choose additional unique stories to tell the scholarship committee. So one of the things we sometimes often see is we get another list of your resume in your essay. That's good if there's a story behind it, or if there's an elaboration to it. But if you are just copying and pasting your resume, that is not a good idea. You want to write it, you don't want to write a generic essay for every application. It would be good practice to look at the description of each scholarship posting and see what exactly are they looking for. And then that way you know how to tailor it to that scholarship. So again, the writing resource is available to you, and they conduct writing workshops in general, just to help you with your writing and improving on that. But they can also read your specific scholarship essays. So make sure that you're reaching out to your resources, setting up appointments, or just reaching out by email, knowing how to get to them so that they can help you with enough time. So another tip would be, make sure that you are reaching out with enough time. Don't wait until the last minute, because then you don't have the time to get that looked at. Some tips for gathering letters of recommendation. I know it's a challenge nowadays with virtual, but you do want to start cultivating close academic relationships with your faculty. So make sure that you are at least saying hello, at least letting them know that you are interested in what you're learning, and giving them a heads up, like, oh, I'm applying to some scholarships. Would it be okay to use you as one of my references if necessary? You may want to choose the recommender that knows you best. Provide clear instructions and deadlines to them. So even though your scholarship portal will close on March 2nd, you want to really make sure that they know to submit and complete their letters of recommendation a little bit before then, so that your application is complete. You will be submitting yours, but then the item might be missing. And if the committee starts reading the applications and your letter of recommendation is not there, you may be scored less because it was missing at the time that they started reading. So just plan ahead and always be thinking that needs to be in by a certain date, and let them know that needs to be done before the deadline. Sometimes they tell you, oh, is it okay if I turn it in on March 2nd? Yes, that's completely okay. Can I turn it in March 3rd? Yes, as long as the committee is not starting to review. And most committees won't start right away. Most of them may wait like a week at least, just because they're getting everything ready, and then they start reading and scoring. Again, I wouldn't recommend waiting until the end, but that's just an FYI. You want to ask early and provide enough time for completion. Provide materials to the recommender to assist you with your request. Sometimes recommenders or your faculty may ask, can I have your resume? Can you have your personal statement? Can you just tell me what the scholarship is? Or ask you what the announcement is. You can provide them a copy of the description, or If it's like an external scholarship, direct them to that place as well. And then something some students forget is that you should stay connected with your recommender and provide updates. So they want to know, they helped you out. They want to know, hey, did you get it? Don't be shy if you didn't. Maybe they know someone in the department that say, hey, there's another scholarship that you might want to apply to. Check that one out. You know, they're here to support you. So make sure that you're keeping them in the loop. If you are a recipient, if you are getting one of these scholarships, some of them will ask you for a thank you letter. And this is to be used for donors so that they can continue to get more funding, so that they continue to offer more scholarships. Similarly, as I mentioned with the recommenders, they also want to know what's going on with you. Are they helping you achieve your goals? How is this scholarship helping you generally or specifically in your goal to achieve your degree? The letter reminds them that why they gave in the first place, and often helps secure continuing gifts for future students. So you're helping others by helping just provide a thank you letter to them. You want to make sure in writing your thank you letter that you are paying attention to details. Make sure that you are writing clearly and concisely. You're checking for any typos or grammar errors. Again, we would also recommend a second reader, a second pair of eyes to take a look, make sure that it looks nice. And express enthusiasm. I'm so excited for the scholarship. Thank you so much. And be sincere as always. You gain more points by being sincere. If you're being fake, many people can tell when that's happening. So just be yourself and be thankful and gracious that you have received the scholarship and it can help you in one way or another. So generally speaking, for the scholarship process, if you are a recipient, we would either get a check from the outside organization, or we would get a payment form from the internal organization. So any Cal Poly Pomona department, club, organization. And then we process and review any additional requirements, such as your GPA or your enrollment. Many of them will say you must be full-time at the time of disbursement, for example. And then that's one of the other things that we would be checking. Just before we give you the funds, we need to check that you're enrolled full-time. We will post this in your Bronco Direct financial aid summary. So you will see it on there along with any other financial aid you may have. If you're not receiving any financial aid, you will only see the scholarship posted. And then once that's posted, you will see the funds released and apply to any balances first. If there's no balance, then you will receive a refund. Refunds are either given to you in the form of a check or given to you via direct deposit, depending on how you have your setup. An important note, there are some rules and regulations from the Fed, from the federal office and state and institutional, where we may need to adjust your financial aid to be able to offer or give you that scholarship. We will notify you of that situation and let you know what your options are. Generally speaking, there are ways to go about it. Maybe you need to submit a cost of attendance appeal, or maybe we need to look at your full financial aid. How does your scholarship impact your financial aid? So the total assistance from all sources cannot exceed the Cal Poly Pomona yearly cost of attendance. Every student will have a cost of attendance assignment, either because you're living on campus, you're living off campus, or you're living with parents. We must use that figure to determine your eligibility and to determine how much we can award. This applies to any financial aid or financial resource that you're going to be receiving, including scholarships. third-party payments, and tuition and fee waivers. And just so you know, cost of attendance includes your tuition and mandatory fees, books and supplies, room and board, personal expenses, and transportation. Your cost of attendance is an estimated cost of attendance. Therefore, if it's not reflecting your situation, you would want to contact the Office of Financial Aid and inform us so that we can assist you in figuring out a more accurate cost of attendance. There is a need formula to determine your eligibility, and that is cost of attendance minus EFC, or expected family contribution. The EFC is the number that we get after you submit your application for FAFSA or for your DREAM Act. And we use that to determine how much aid you can get. And again, that includes scholarships or any third-party payments or fee waivers. In the example provided, the student's cost of attendance was $25,906. Their EFC was 0. So they had a need of $25,906. They received some financial aid in the amount of $25,900. So in reality, they can have $6 of extra aid or scholarship if eligible. Obviously, may not be that many scholarships for $6. Many will be for 500 or 1,000. So that means that the student will need to go through a COA cost of attendance appeal process, or we would need to review their financial aid to see what adjustments we can make so that they can receive that scholarship that they just were selected for. We provided you with some helpful links so that it's readily available to you. Again, the direct link for the portal for you to apply, our scholarships page in case you have questions on any type of scholarship, the video that I mentioned that we created so that you know how to apply, and then our email addresses. So we are the same office, Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships, but we do have our own email in case you have specific questions for scholarships. And that's scholarships@cpp.edu. If you have questions about your checks or your funding, or your direct deposit, it would be student accounts and cashiers. So we also provided that. And then if you also have questions about your general financial aid, finaid@cpp.edu is the email you want to use. Okay, I guess that's it. Any questions?
Okay, and you're also welcome to ask questions in the chat. Veronica is monitoring the chat if you have questions.
Okay, so we got one. It says, are the scholarships available to graduating seniors?
Yes, there are going to be a few scholarships available to graduating seniors. So my recommendation is always just go in and apply. There may be others opening a little later, but most of them should be on there now. We have over 300 scholarship listings for 23-24. And that's something I don't think I mentioned, but many scholarships will be for future year. So even though you're applying now, you won't get the funds until next year. I think the question is referring to, can you get it now as a graduating senior? Yes, there are some scholarships available for current year. I refer to them as current year. So go in there, look for that. You might see a scope that says current year or 22-23 application.
Another question we have, are students in debt more likely to get scholarships than students that are not in debt?
No, so that is a misconception. There are scholarships that are merit-based, and merit means, again, they're only looking for your GPA, or they're looking for any specific involvement in a specific program, or any specific talent. Those are called merit scholarships, they will not need necessarily be looking at your need or your financial aid information. So just because you don't have debt, that doesn't mean that you won't have any scholarships available to you.
Awesome. Another one we have is, will we see our scholarships awards before we take out loans? And will we be able to adjust our loan amounts after seeing our awards? Or if we need to, if our need is exceeded by the scholarships?
Yes, so we are doing our very best to offer your scholarships either right before you get your financial aid packages or at the same time that you get your financial aid packages, so that you can see the whole package, both your financial aid and any scholarships you may have received. And then that way everything is adjusted and everything is there for you to know what to expect for the following year.
Awesome. That's all the questions so far on the chats. We got another one. Is it possible to send the PowerPoint presentation to use it as a guide and resource? I also needed to write a paragraph for my assignment for class.
Yes, I think we do provide a copy of the PowerPoint. I need to check with my team, but I think we do. So yes, it won't be right away. I think it takes a couple of days, but we can definitely provide that.
Another question we have. Would you recommend joining specific clubs, do particular activities, etc., in order to have more opportunities to apply for scholarships?
Again, I'm gonna go back to be yourself, be genuine, be authentic. If that's something you want to do, it catches your interest, definitely go and try it. If your professors are talking a lot about it, I would recommend you reach out to them and say, hey, I hear you're talking a lot about this. Can you tell me more? Maybe I want to join. Or what is the requirement to join? When I was a student, there was many things that I heard of, and I was like, how did you even get into that? And they were just like, oh, I just asked. So it's as easy as that. You just need to make sure you're asking around, either your peers or your faculty, or in the resources office, or even us. We can definitely point you to some places.
Awesome. I have another one. It says, so hi, if I'm graduating senior for class of 22-23, applying for scholarships now, and we're expected to receive them next year, where would it go, since I'm not sure if it would be posted on our Bronco Direct?
So again, if you're a graduating senior, those would be current year scholarships that will be awarded this current year. So you wouldn't see it in 23-24. You would see it probably at the end of fall, once the review committee decides who's going to get it. In the description, sorry, Vanessa. In the description, it's going to usually tell you the award period. So that's another thing to look out for. It will show you award period 2022, 2023. That's the current year. So that you can apply now to get it now. And then otherwise it would say award period 23, 24. And that means you're going to apply now, but you're going to get it in the next year.
Awesome. Just a couple asked about the PowerPoint, where will it be sent? Once you speak to other department and see where they would be sent, to their email address, or how will they made aware of getting a copy of this presentation?
So we normally send it to the coordinator of each of the presentations, and then we ask them to distribute. So I don't know what method they use to. I don't know if they know.
Yes, so once we receive the presentation, then our programs will be able to distribute the presentation over to the students. So whatever program you're a participant of, you could ask your advisor and such.
Yeah, we'll email it out.
Yeah. All right, do we have any last questions? Okay, so it seems we might not. If we don't have any questions, I'd like to send out the survey here. I just sent it in the chat. If you could please click on that link, it'll take you to our form, and it's a brief questionnaire regarding your experience with this workshop. And once again, we want to thank Maria and Veronica for joining us from the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships. It was wonderful, very insightful information. Thank you, Maria, for sharing.